Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Frozen and thanks for joining me. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of stuff laid out on the table for an updated electronics video. A lot of people recently have been asking what camera I'm filming with, and it was an upgrade this year, so we're gonna also talk about that. This video is gonna be useful for people that not only are camping and backpacking and hiking and all that stuff, but also people that are vlogging, doing similar things to what I'm doing and filming their adventures. So if you're a vlogger, stay tuned. You might get some ideas and it might help you with your setup, and that's what this video is really for. But as far as the camping side of things, there's typically 5 items that I bring with me every time I go backpacking. So let's talk about those. All right, so first up, let's talk about my headlamp. You guys have probably heard enough about this headlamp, so I'll go over it very briefly. This is the Night Court NU25 headlamp with the lightsmith.com headband mod. Battery life is amazing. I have a full review about this, and I've been using this for over 2.5 years now. Absolutely love it. No reason to change it. It has every single feature that I've ever wanted in a headlamp, and on top of that, it is rechargeable. Now, to charge the headlamp, I have an Anker 10,000 milliamp PD external battery. PD stands for power delivery, and currently, as of making this video, it's the fastest way to charge one of these bricks. On top of that, I also do bring a charging cable, USB-C to C, to get the most out of my battery bank. This particular charger has a USB-A and a USB-C charger on it, and it really does everything that I need. But I bring a USB-C to C for my phone and charging that external battery. All right, last item that I bring camping is gonna be my Anker Sound Curve headphones, right? Now, these are really good. I do wish the earbuds were separate. You can see that they have the wire to allow them to hang off your neck if you need to do that. But I stick with the cable in the middle option because it's just an easier way to charge these things. You don't need a case. You don't need to charge the earbuds separately like you do without the wire in between them. And at the volumes that I'm usually listening to either audiobooks at night or my Spotify when it's raining out particularly, these last about 6.5 hours. Now, they do claim that they last 12 hours at really, really low volumes. I haven't tested that theory because it's almost inaudible, but I do highly recommend, if you're looking for a headphone replacement, these are awesome. These have been submerged, they've been beat up, they've been thrown around, they've been on a full Appalachian Trail through hike. These are awesome. I cannot wait until they can figure out how to make this battery a little bit longer, but for now, it is just awesome. That basically covers all of my electronics that I bring for weekend trips without vlogging. So when I am vlogging and I'm out for longer than a weekend trip, I have this guy. This is an upgraded model compared to this 10,000 milliamp. This is a 20,000 milliamp Anker PD, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And this gets me about 4.25 phone charges. Now, what's surprising, and the research I've done points that you do lose a lot of charging capability when you go up to something like a 20,000 milliamp. For instance, like I said, this gives you about a 4.25 phone charges. This actually gives me 2.5 charges. So it's actually better for me to bring 2 of these guys than it is 1 of these guys, except for one thing: weight. This is a little bit lighter than bringing 2 of these chargers, so keep that in mind. I don't really feel like having something this big really anyone needs. This lasts me 5 days, maybe a little bit more. And the reason that I bring this is because I'm vlogging, right? I need that extra battery power to recharge my camera batteries. But if I'm going out for a week, I would honestly just bring this guy. My phone is usually on airplane mode and Bluetooth off and location services off, and it really does save a lot of battery when you do those sorts of things. All right, moving on to the vlogging side of things. Some of you may know that at the beginning of this year, I was using a mirrorless camera. This one, actually, the Canon M50. It came highly recommended by several other outdoor channels, and I thought this was gonna be my go-to camera this year. There were, I think, 4 or 5 things that I didn't like about this. First of all, I bought an upgraded lens, $250, got a 22mm lens. I think it was that price at least. And this was supposed to enhance the quality of the stock lens, right? So I would take off the stock lens and put this upgraded 22mm lens on, and the quality was fantastic. However, Canon, for whatever reason, doesn't have in-body image stabilization on this camera. Sony does, however. I should have got a Sony probably. But I reverted back to this just because the shakiness of this lens was so bad. I just felt that you guys would get seasick watching this thing. I mean, I didn't even want to edit the video. It was so poorly done. The problem that I had with this was that for the audio to work properly, I had to get one of these guys. This is a Movo VXR10 or whatever it is. So it was a hot shoe mic. It went on the camera like this. It made it ridiculously big. I don't want to carry something this big. But another problem arose from that is that the mic input for this guy is, get this, on this side of the camera. What's wrong with that? Well, I can't open my LED screen and flip it around, right? I couldn't open it to flip it around. So I would always have the LED screen flipped out before I plugged it in, and then I would have this wire right in front of it, right? On top of that, the audio, sometimes I like to talk while shooting forward, so I'd have to flip this every time I wanted to do that to the other direction so it could pick up my voice, because this thing is a directional microphone. It only takes input from the front, and it was really bad. So the audio was terrible on this thing. Even with the upgraded mic, it fixed it, but it just created a whole bunch of other problems. On top of that, something I really wanted to do is go to a 4K setup. In comes the Sony AX43, which I purchased in May, June, somewhere around there. And it fixed a lot of my Canon M50 issues. For one, it's 4K resolution. It doesn't weigh as much as this camera, fully decked out with everything that I needed. It's quite small and compact. It has a 100 megabit data rate on it, which I think is necessary for a camera that does 4K footage. The battery lasts literally all day compared to the Canon batteries, which lasted 2-3 hours in cold weather. Didn't really like it. I didn't like this, guys. It's a good camera, but it just did not work for me at all. On top of the camera, sometimes I bring an extra battery, which I can charge in this Caster USB battery charger. And I use the extra battery for camp footage while the main camera battery is charging. Like I said, it lasts pretty much all day. I can even, depending on how much I film, I can squeeze 2 days out of it, right? And this has a little LED indicator letting me know the status of the battery, which I really, really like. In rainy conditions or foggy conditions, I do switch to my Pixel 3 phone. This has 4K footage. It's not quite 100 megabits data rate, which I can get by, especially if it's raining. The quality is always off when it's wet out and it's raining or foggy. This gets the job done. This is the same camera that I used on the same phone I used on the AT to film my entire adventure, and it's still holding up. There's some buttons you have to press a certain way to get it to work now that it's been in the rain for probably 3 months straight, but it does work, and it works well with the other 4K footage that I have. In both scenarios, these cameras can attach to my Ultrapod. This is meant for mirrorless and DSLR cameras. I upgraded this year to something a little bit bigger. But the little one, the little Ultrapod they offer, is perfect for people that just want to use their phone or a smaller camera or camcorder. And it's attached with my phone on this Manfrotto little mount that's adjustable, and it works well. In addition to the Ultrapod, I do also have a monopod. This is an X-Shot extendable monopod, so I can get my shots just like that. I can hold it away and it's not so up in my face. In addition, I can also attach this to the Ultrapod and extend the camera up pretty high. I do have to watch and have some balance issues, but for the most part, if it's on even ground and I really want to get a shot, I can use this in a pinch. I try not to, just because I'm fearful for it tipping over. It's not the most stable once it gets to be this high, but it does work. I have used it before, and that was the whole purpose of it. I also have a little lens cleaning cloth that I put in a bag. Now, in the rain and also at night, sometimes I will throw everything into a gallon freezer bag, and I have a couple of these desiccant silica gel packets. These are meant to absorb water. I always save these and just have a big bag of them ready to go. I swap these out every couple months, and I've never had any kind of rust or issues with humidity or dampness or wetness in any of my camera electronics since I've been doing this. I think we're going on 6 years, maybe a little bit longer than that now, and these work great. All right, everybody, I think we covered about everything. So if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, everybody stay safe, and I'll see you on the trail. I can't wait to get out for some winter trips this year.